All right, guys, in this bonus section, I want to talk a little bit about Nate, get some of his backstory, and really help those of you who are looking, again, to make this your career, just kind of talk about your path and how you got there and how you got started. So where did this all start? Like, what was the day you knew? Yeah, just tell me your story.
Yeah, so my story actually started in college. I first started wanting to become a doctor. And so I was taking a lot of science classes, and I kind of always liked math. And so one of the electives they offered was programming. And I thought, hey, I've played computer games, and why not learn about making them myself? And so I took a class, and I just really liked it. It was really rewarding to be able to take an idea and then actually make it real in a quick amount of time. So I started there, and then eventually graduated with a degree in software engineering. But honestly, it was kind of a long process. You had to go to all your classes and read the textbook. And I found that there was a lot of information that was taught it's important, but I don't use it every day as a professional software engineer. Really, a lot of my core learnings I got on YouTube, and I got on articles online. However, the problem with that is with resources online, they're all over the place, and you kind of have to hunt them down. And so wanted to teach a course to try to condense that and try to focus in on actually teaching the core pieces of info. So
how did you, though, like for those of you watching who want the job, how did you go from learning in college about programming, this is an option, to getting your first job? So your first job you worked for, what was the company's name? I forget.
First job I actually worked for was the College of Engineering at the University of Michigan. And I got that job because I first started as a lab proctor, just making sure that people paid their 10 cents to buy copy paper for the printers. And eventually the head guy there, there was an opportunity to make an app. And so I volunteered and said, hey, I've been taking some programming courses. I think I can help out here. And he gave me a chance, and I started to build and learn more, and eventually was able to deploy an app that all the engineering students got access to.
That's awesome.
And so that was my first start. And from there, that was a good body of work that I used to
I would say I find that interesting. So when I was in college, my first real I don't want to say project, but like kind of introduction to doing something for somebody else where there was feedback and the whole client freelancer relationship. I was in the student government, and I was making posters for some events. And that's when I discovered that I really liked it, and I actually switched majors because of it. And so I find that interesting that, for those of you who want to make this your thing, you're not going to take this course and then immediately have somebody want to pay you to do the stuff. You're going to have to kind of put yourself out there. And, I'm not asking you to do free work. I really strongly suggest, obviously the skill you've just learned from Nate and coming through this class is valuable. It has lots of tangible value. So don't sell yourself short, but at the same time, you got to get yourself out there. So you got to do some things, some maybe free stuff, volunteering, whether it's a charity that needs some help, or a church or a band or something, a business, or maybe a friend's business or something, your parents' business, find somebody who needs your service and get to work. I mean, that's how it starts. Yeah.
And also, as you're building your resume with different applications, and I should get back, I actually do interviewing at the company I'm working for now. And one of the biggest ways,
which is Zulily.
Yeah, right. So big company, I work in their fulfillment center division, where I program different applications to help us manage items in giant warehouses. But anyway, I'm looking at resumes, and one of the ways we vet quickly is to see if people have actually made things. We want to find candidates who actually like building applications. We don't want to just find someone who maybe went through a textbook and maybe just graduated through college, but they don't really build a lot of things.
Curious, do you guys look at college degrees? So, for example, when I went to college, I got pretty good grades. Nobody in the last almost 12 years of me doing this has asked for my degree that I'm still paying off, and what my grades were. They want to see what I've actually physically done. That's all they care about. Is that the same for you? Like, would you say?
I would say it's the same. I mean, definitely having the college degree helps.
Sure.
Especially kind of that first wave getting through recruiters. Recruiters might not be technical, and so they might not be looking at your resume with the developer's eyes. But certainly when you start talking with developers, they want to see what you've made. Similar to the design world, if you walk up, they don't want to hear about the theory you've learned about color theory. They want to see what you've made. And it's the same thing with programming. We want to see what you've made, and we want to see if you're someone we want to make things together with.
Yeah. So how did you go from, volunteering in a lab to now being one of the hiring people at Zulily? How did, tell me a little bit of your history, how you bridged that gap and what got you there?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's a journey. Like we're all on a journey, a learning journey.
Yeah.
And it started with just first building that app. And along that way, you'll come against these brick walls, right? You'll have some kind of challenge you need to solve. Maybe it's showing a bunch of images in a list, or maybe it's calling out to a service to get some data about the courses that students are taking. You'll hit these roadblocks, and then you're going to need to solve them. And so you can solve them by reading the API documents of your different libraries. You can go, take a Udemy course to learn about a specific piece of programming. But it's kind of that repeated process of finding problems and then having the curiosity and the will to solve them. And that's one of the reasons I like programming, is because you get to continue to solve problems.
So your job before Zulily was, I forget the company name, but they're the ones that created Camtasia. Some of you have seen the screen capture software Camtasia. That's one of your first, like, quote, real jobs, right?
Yep. So out of college, I worked, my first job was at TechSmith. TechSmith is the company that makes Camtasia, and they also make Snagit and some other applications as well. And I got my first start there, and great place to work, and really just focused on getting in and just solving those problems. Just continue to learn and learn.
Did you just throw a resume at them, or did you have a portfolio? Like, what did you show them that they're like, yeah, we believe you can do the work we need? Like, how did you get in the door?
It was a combination of, it was mainly the resume, and then it was also reaching out to them. Yeah. So I met them first at a career fair. And then I did two things. One, I gave them my resume, but I also applied online, try to hit them from different angles. But I think what ended up getting me the job, and later this was confirmed by talking to the managers, was that they had seen my previous body of work. They had seen the apps that I had made. And when I went in to actually interview, and they asked the general questions, your interview for a programming position, they're going to ask you the basics of programming. They're going to ask you some concepts about data and how you manage data efficiently. But then they're also going to ask about your experience. They're going to ask about what you've built. What were the hard problems? How did you solve them? How do you work as a contributor? Do you work well as in a team? And so the experience at my first job with making that app, but then just kind of continuing to build and learn, and then to build things with other students, that's what eventually landed me my first job.
Awesome. Very cool. So what's the best way, like if they have questions, what's the best way to reach you? I know you've got your website, natedesert.com.
Right.
Just go there, go to the contact page, they can find you, ask questions. Or if you're in the Udemy course, of course, you've got the Q&A section as well. Both of us have obviously lots of experience with being on the free end of side, where you're doing stuff for free, to being now, highly sought after in our fields. And that just came from lots and lots and lots of hard work. But during that journey, we'd love to help you navigate those waters. So feel free to hit us up in the Q&A section and get on the website. My website's derekmitchell.com, link below or somewhere. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, you already talked about natedesert.com, but the Facebook group, private Facebook group, we'll have the link in the description. That's where you can find us, and you can ask questions, and we'd love to interact with you and to help you in your learning journey.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing your story, Nate. And thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks.